Let's talk about something that's absolutely essential to our profession but sometimes overlooked: how the law shapes what we do as nurses. Think about this. Every time we care for our client, there's a legal framework guiding our actions. It's like the rule book that keeps everything in check. And today we're going to explore four ways the law plays this vital role in nursing. First, the law gives us a framework for legal nursing actions. It's what ensures our care is safe and aligns with professional standards. For example, when we administer medication or perform a procedure, we're not just following a doctor's order, we're operating within legal guidelines. This framework is what protects us and, most importantly, our patients. It's like having a reliable map to guide us through the complexities of patient care. Next, the law helps differentiate our responsibilities from other healthcare professionals. Let's be real, it's easy to overlap our roles within a busy hospital, but the law ensures clarity. For instance, while a doctor might prescribe a treatment, it's our role to ensure that treatment is implemented correctly and safely. Knowing where our responsibilities begin and end allows us to focus on what we do best while fostering great teamwork. Now let's talk about the boundaries of independent nursing action. This is where we get to use our judgment and expertise. We can assess a patient's condition, provide basic interventions, and educate them about their health, all without waiting for a doctor's approval. But the law also draws a line, reminding us when we need to collaborate or refer. It's like having a safety net. It gives us room to act confidently but not recklessly. Finally, the law holds us accountable and maintains high standards for our profession. Accountability can sound intimidating, but it's really about ensuring that our actions are ethical, professional, and always in the patient's best interest. Think of it as the foundation of trust in nursing. Patients rely on us because they know we're bound by these laws to do what's right for them. So, in a nutshell, the law is like a backbone of nursing practice. It guides us, protects us, and ensures that we're delivering care that's safe, ethical, and effective. By understanding and embracing these legal functions, we're not just better nurses, we're stronger advocates for our patients. And that is our ultimate goal as nurses. Now, let's discuss the main sources of law in our country, the Philippines. These are the foundations of our legal system, shaping how laws are created and interpreted and applied in our country. Think of them as the pillars that hold order and justice in society. At the top of the list is the Constitution. This is the fundamental law of the land, and everything else, whether it's a new law or a government policy, must comply with it. It's like the backbone of our legal system, ensuring that government actions align with the rights and principles it enshrines. If something goes against the Constitution, it simply doesn't hold up. That's how powerful it is. Next, we have statutes, which are laws enacted by legislature. These include acts of Congress, municipal charters, and even court rules. For example, the Anti Violence Against Women and Their Children Act Act is a statute that addresses specific societal issues. Statutes give shape to how the Constitution's principles are implemented in everyday life. Then there are administrative regulations, which are rules issued by government agencies. This might not sound as exciting, but they are incredibly important. Imagine rules about health protocols or business permits. Those come from administrative agencies. These regulations make sure that finer details of the law are carried out efficiently. Now let's talk about judicial decisions, also known as case law. This is where judges interpret the Constitution and statutes. Every time a court makes a decision, especially on a constitutional question, it adds to our legal landscape. These decisions act as precedents, guiding future cases and ensuring consistency in how laws are applied. Finally, we have international law. This governs our country's obligations under treaties, conventions, and agreements. For instance, the Philippines' commitment to human rights through the United Nations is rooted in international law. It's about collaborating on a global scale to address issues that transcend borders. So those are the five sources of law: the Constitution, statutes, administrative regulations, judicial decisions, and international law. They work together to create a cohesive legal system. Each has a unique role, but together they ensure that justice and order prevail in the Philippines. Understanding this will give us nurses insights into our rights and also helps us appreciate the structure that keeps our society functioning. Now let's move on to the types of laws that guide and shape how we live, work, and interact in society. These laws provide structure and protection, and they're categorized into two main types: the public law and private or civil law. These categories help us understand who's involved and what's at stake when the law is applied. First up, we have the public law. This type of law deals with relationships between individuals and the government. In nursing, public law often comes into play when ensuring the safety and welfare of the public. One key area is the criminal law. This addresses actions that threaten public safety. Example to consider is the Philippine Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act. As nurses, we administer medications and handle controlled substances. If a nurse mishandles or illegally dispenses these drugs, it could lead to criminal charges because it puts public safety at risk. Another example is medical malpractice. It involves gross negligence, like administering wrong medications that results in a patient's death. If it's deemed a criminal act, it falls under public law. So crimes are classified under public law as felonies, like falsifying a patient's medical records, which is a serious offense, and misdemeanor, such as minor licensing violations, like forgetting to renew your license on time. Public law ensures that the government can enforce rules that keep the public safe and hold healthcare providers accountable. Now we have Also, the private law or the civil law. This governs relationship between private individuals. In nursing, this includes interactions with patients, families, or even employers. If there's a dispute or an issue, it often falls under private law. One key branch of private law is contract law. For instance, let's say you signed a contract with a hospital in Cebu City, agreeing to serve as a nurse for 3 years in exchange for training and other benefits. If either you or the hospital fails to honor that contract, such as an unfair dismissal, it becomes a legal issue under contract law. Another important branch is tort law, which addresses rights and duties that aren't based on contracts. A common example in nursing is professional negligence. Imagine a nurse neglects to check a patient's vital signs after a major surgery, leading to complications. That's a tort issue because it breaches the duty of care owed to the patient. Other examples include invasions of privacy, like disclosing a patient's medical condition without consent, or battery, which can occur if a nurse performs a procedure without a patient's informed consent. To summarize, public law focuses on societal welfare and involves the government directly, while private law focuses on resolving disputes between individuals or organizations. For nurses, public law ensures that our actions protect public safety, while private law safeguards relationships with our patients and colleagues. Understanding this distinction is essential for protecting yourself legally as a nurse. Whether you're documenting care, administering medication, or signing a work contract, these laws provide a framework for safe and ethical practice. And as a professional in the healthcare field, staying informed isn't just helpful, it's empowering. It allows you to confidently navigate your responsibilities while advocating for your patients and yourself. Let us now discuss the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002, known as the Republic Act number 9173. This law serves as the foundation for nursing practice in the country, ensuring that nurses are well protected, properly trained, and given opportunities to grow. Officially titled, an act providing for a more responsive nursing profession, repealing for the purpose Republic Act number 7164, otherwise known as the Philippine Nursing Act of 1991, and for other purposes. This updated law addresses the evolving needs of the nursing profession, promoting a more responsive and dynamic system for education, practice, and workforce development. Let's explore its key components and how they shape the nursing profession. The law begins with a declaration of policy where the government commits to safeguarding and enhancing the nursing profession. It ensures humane working conditions, better career prospects, and quality education for nurses. Most importantly, it guarantees the delivery of basic health services by ensuring an adequate nursing workforce throughout the country. This declaration reflects the vital role of nurses in building a healthier nation. To oversee the nursing profession, the law established the Board of Nursing, composed of a chairperson and 6 members. These individuals are appointed by the President and must meet strict qualifications. For example, they need at least 10 years of continuous nursing practice, with the last 5 years in the Philippines. The board ensures that only qualified professionals regulate and oversee nursing practice, maintaining the profession's integrity. The Board of Nursing displays a crucial role in upholding standards. It administers licensure exams, monitors compliance with ethical standards, and even recommends nursing education improvements. For example, the board coordinates with the Commission on Higher Education to ensure nursing schools provide quality education. The board also has the authority to suspend or revoke licenses for violations, which reinforces accountability among nurses. Licensure is a major focus of the law. To practice nursing in the Philippines, candidates must pass a written examination. They must also meet specific qualifications, be a Filipino citizen, have good moral character, and hold a bachelor's degree in nursing. Once passed, the nurse receives a certificate of registration and a professional identification card. This ensures that all practicing nurses meet a baseline level of competence and professionalism. The law defines the scope of nursing practice as broad and encompassing. Nurses provide care throughout the human lifespan, from conception to old age. They play a key role in promoting health, preventing illness, and providing direct care. For example, nurses administer medications, assess patients' conditions, and manage care plans to ensure recovery and well-being. Nurses are also empowered to collaborate with healthcare teams for curative, preventive, and rehabilitative care. A unique aspect of the law is its recognition of specialized nursing roles, such as assisting in childbirth or performing perineal suturing after special training. These responsibilities highlight the advanced skill nurses bring to healthcare settings. The law recognizes that nurses are not just caregivers, they are also educators and leaders. Nurses supervise students in clinical settings, manage nursing services in hospitals, and participate in research to advance the profession. For instance, a head nurse might oversee patient care while also mentoring junior staff and student nurses. These dual roles ensure that the next generation of nurses is well prepared. To maintain competence, nurses are required to engage in continuing professional education. This includes attending training programs and earning credits from accredited organizations. For example, nurses might take refresher courses on infection control for advances in critical care. This ensures that your skills remain sharp and aligned with modern healthcare needs. To uphold standards, the law imposes strict regulations. For instance, public health nurses must receive a minimum salary grade 15, ensuring compensation. The law also penalizes illegal practice, with fines ranging from 50,000 to 100,000 pesos or imprisonment of up to 6 years. These measures protect the profession's integrity and ensure that only qualified nurses practice. The law provides a strong emphasis on nursing education. It mandates that faculty members in nursing schools must have clinical experience and a master's degree. Inactive nurses must undergo refresher training, if they wish to return to practice after 5 years. These requirements ensure that nurses receive high quality education and that those teaching them are well qualified. To further advance the nursing profession, the law supports the development of advanced nursing rules, such as nurse clinicians and specialists. Collaboration with specialty organizations ensures that nurses acquire the skills needed for these advanced positions. For example, a nurse specializing in renal care might receive additional training and certification to lead dialysis units. The Professional Regulations Commission, or the PRC, and the Board of Nursing are tasked with enforcing the law. They work with CHED, DOH, and other agencies to ensure proper implementation. Regular studies and initiatives are conducted to address nursing workforce needs and maintain standards. The legal aspects of nursing practice in the Philippines focus on the specific laws that shape our responsibilities, protect our rights, and guide how we deliver care. These laws are not just rules. They are safeguards that help us provide ethical, professional, and safe nursing services. Understanding these laws allow us to better advocate for ourselves and most importantly for our patients. The Philippine Nursing Act of 2002 or the Republic Act 9173 is the foundation of our profession. It provides the structure and standards for nursing education, licensure, and practice in the country. It also outlines the responsibilities of the Board of Nursing, which regulates our profession. One key provision is the requirement for all nurses to pass the nurse licensure examination. This ensures that everyone practicing nursing in the country has met the minimum competency standards necessary to provide safe and effective care. The Act also defines the scope of nursing practice, emphasizing roles in health promotion, disease prevention, curative care, and rehabilitation. For instance, nurses are empowered to work independently in health education or collaboratively in multidisciplinary teams. Imagine a nurse handling a barangay health program. They assess community needs, develop strategies to address health issues, and provide education on disease prevention. All these actions align with the scope of practice defined in Republic Act 9173. The Universal Health Care Act, or Republic Act 11223, is designed to make quality health care accessible to all Filipinos. For nurses, this means taking on expanded roles in public health and community-based care. Nurses are now key players in managing health programs that focus on preventive care and education, especially in underserved areas. This law also supports additional training for nurses to enhance their skills in delivering primary care. Think about a public health nurse who organizes a vaccination drive in a rural barangay. This role includes educating families, ensuring vaccines are stored properly, and addressing concerns about side effects. Under the universal health care, these efforts contribute to improving community health outcomes. The Data Privacy Act protects sensitive personal information, and as nurses, we are at the forefront of handling such data. This law ensures that patient records are kept confidential and used only for their intended purpose. For example, when you document patient care during clinical rotations, you must ensure that records are secure and shared only with authorized personnel. This includes avoiding discussions about patient details in public places or on social media. There was a case where a nurse shared a patient's condition in a group chat, and the patient's family discovered the breach. The nurse faced penalties under this law. This emphasizes the need for us to maintain confidentiality at all times. The Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act, or the Republic Act 9262, requires nurses to act as mandated reporters when they suspect abuse or violence. This law ensures that vulnerable individuals like children and women receive protection and intervention at the earliest signs of harm. In practice, this means nurses must document and report any physical, emotional, or behavioral signs of abuse they encounter during patient care. Accurate and timely reporting can save lives and prevent further harm. A nurse working in an emergency room noticed bruises on a child admitted for fever. After asking careful questions, the nurse reported the case to her superior. It was later confirmed as a case of domestic violence. That nurse's action likely changed the course of that child's life. The Occupational Safety and Health Standard Act, or Republic Act 11058, focuses on ensuring safe working conditions for all employees, including nurses. This is especially important in our profession, where exposure to hazardous materials and infectious disease agents is common. The law mandates the provision of personal protective equipment, or PPE, proper training on workplace safety, and implementation of measures to reduce occupational risks. For example, ergonomic measures might be implemented to prevent back injuries among nurses frequently lifting patients. During the COVID-19 pandemic, a hospital in Metro Manila faced penalties for failing to supply N95 masks to its staff. Nurses are on the front lines and must have proper protection, and this law ensures accountability in such situations. This law on Patients' Rights and Obligations, or the Republic Act 8344, protects the patient's rights, particularly their right to informed consent. It ensures that patients fully understand their diagnosis, treatment options, and potential risks before agreeing to any procedure or care plan. For nurses, this means not only witnessing consent forms, but also ensuring that patients have genuinely understood the information given by the healthcare provider. It's about advocacy, making sure no patient feels pressured or coerced. A patient diagnosed with cancer might hesitate to undergo surgery. By explaining alternative treatments, risks, and benefits, a nurse can help the patient make an informed decision that aligns with their values. The Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002, or Republic Act 9165, regulates the handling, storage, and documentation of controlled substances like opioids. Nurses play a critical role in ensuring these substances are used appropriately and safely. Proper documentation and secure storage prevent misuse, diversion, and legal issues. Any discrepancies in drug records must be reported immediately to prevent further complication. In one case, a nurse faced legal action for failing to document the administration of a narcotic. Such incidents highlight the importance of meticulous record keeping to comply with this law. Advanced directives, supported by the Civil Code of the Philippines, allow patients to express their preferences for end of life care, such as do not resuscitate or DNR orders. Nurses play a key role in advocating for these decisions, ensuring they are respected and implemented correctly. Clear documentation of the patient's wishes is critical in preventing conflicts during care. A nurse working with a terminally ill patient helps the family understand the implications of a DNR order. The patient passed peacefully with their wishes fully honored. The Safe Spaces Act, or Republic Act 11313, protects individuals, including nurses, from harassment in the workplace. This includes verbal, physical, and sexual harassment. For nurses, this law ensures a safe and respectful working environment, allowing us to focus on providing quality care without fear or intimidation. A nurse reported a colleague for making inappropriate comments during a shift. The hospital took immediate action, demonstrating the effectiveness of this law in maintaining workplace safety. Delegation is an essential skill for nurses, as outlined in the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002, or RA 9173. It allows nurses to assign specific tasks to qualified personnel while retaining accountability for the patient's care and safety. A nurse might delegate vital sign monitoring to a nursing aide, but must still review and interpret the results to inform patient care decision. The Continuing Professional Development, or CPD Act of 2016, or Republic Act 10912, ensures that nurses continue to grow professionally by requiring them to earn CPD units for license renewal. These units can be earned through training, workshops, or seminars that enhance skills and knowledge. A nurse attends a seminar on wound care management to fulfill CPD requirements, and that nurse will also show an improved ability to manage complex cases in the hospital where she is working. Understanding the legal aspects of nursing practice in the Philippines is very important. It will enable us to protect ourselves, advocate for our patients, and deliver the highest standard of care. Each law that we have discussed plays a vital role in ensuring that our profession remains ethical, accountable, and safe for everyone involved. As future nurses, it's crucial to embrace these legal principles and apply them in your daily practice. Remember, knowing your rights and responsibility not only empowers you, but also strengthens the trust patients place in our profession. Now let's discuss the areas of potential liability in our practice of nursing in the Philippines. These legal principles are not just theoretical, they are practical tools to help us navigate our professional responsibilities, protect our patients, and safeguard our license. As nurses, we often work in high pressure environments where quick decisions can have life altering consequences. Understanding the laws that govern our profession helps us act ethically and responsibly, even in challenging situations. Think of this discussion as the legal compass you will use throughout your nursing career. In nursing, liability often comes into play when actions or inactions result in harm to a patient. Most liabilities are governed by tort law, which deals with civil wrongs. It's important to distinguish between two types of torts: unintentional torts, such as negligence or malpractice, where harm wasn't intended but still occurred due to failure to meet standards. We also have intentional torts, where the nurse's actions were deliberate, such as threatening or restraining a patient without justification. Common examples of liability in nursing includes medication errors, failing to verify the right patient, right medication, or the right dose, failure to observe signs of deterioration like increasing heart rate or unusual behavior or manifestation. Another one is poor communication, not reporting critical patient information to the healthcare team. Imagine a nurse failing to recognize signs of sepsis in a patient. This negligence could lead to serious harm or even death. Under Republic Act 9173 or the Philippine Nursing Act of 2002, this could result in disciplinary action for failure to meet professional standards. Now let's break down two major legal categories that intersect with nursing: crimes and torts. A crime is a violation of public law. It doesn't have to be intentional to be punishable. For example, if a nurse unintentionally administers a lethal overdose of a narcotic, it could be considered manslaughter. Crimes are categorized into felonies or serious crimes like second degree murder, and misdemeanors, lesser offenses such as minor theft or violations of workplace rules. On the other hand, a tort is a civil wrong that leads to a lawsuit. This might include a nurse breaching a patient's confidentiality or failing to prevent a fall. Example is a nurse who restrains a patient unnecessarily, and he or she could face a lawsuit for false imprisonment, which is an intentional tort. The patient's right to autonomy is supported by Article 32 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, and in this case is violated. Unintentional torts are more common in our nursing practice. These include negligence and malpractice, and are also called professional negligence. Let's unpack these terms. Negligence is the failure to provide care that a reasonably prudent nurse would provide under similar circumstances. Another one is malpractice. This is negligence that occurs while performing our professional duties, such as administering incorrect medication. There are six elements of negligence. First, duty. The nurse had a responsibility to the patient. Another one is the breach of duty, meaning the nurse failed to meet the expected standard of care. Another one is foreseeability. The nurse should but failed to have anticipated the harm. Fourth, we have causation. The breach directly caused the harm. Fifth, we have injury or harm, which means the patient suffered actual damage. And sixth, damages. The harm resulted in financial or emotional loss. For example, is a nurse failing to monitor a patient after surgery, which resulted to undetected internal bleeding. This breach of duty, which any prudent nurse would have avoided, makes the nurse liable under RA 9173. One of the most common causes of liability in nursing is medication errors. These errors can occur at various stages, such as prescribing, dispensing, or administering. Common causes is misreading a label, incorrectly calculating a dose, or administering medication to the wrong patient. Therefore, it's important to always follow the rights of medication administration, which include ensuring you are giving the right medication to the right patient with the right dose at the right time and the right route. Now let's talk about intentional torts. These occur when a nurse's actions are deliberate and results in harm or violation of a patient's right. Examples of intentional torts include assault. This is threatening a patient with harm, such as saying, "If you don't take this medication, I'll restrain you." That could be assault. And we also have battery, which is physically administering a medication without consent. False imprisonment, using restraints without justification, or not allowing the client to go as he decides. Defamation, making false statements that harm a colleague's reputation. So if a nurse restrains a patient who simply wants to leave against medical advice, this could lead to a lawsuit for false imprisonment. The patient always have the right to sign an AMA form or against medical advice form unless they are legally incompetent. Patient confidentiality is sacred in nursing. The Data Privacy Act of 2012 ensures that personal health information is protected and shared only when necessary. So always remember to secure your patient's record, whether it be electronic or paper form. Avoid discussing your patient's cases in public places. And never post patient-related content on social media. Never share a background or a selfie with your patient in the background. This is a violation of our Data Privacy Act and could lead to a fine. Always think before you click, and most especially before you post. Social media can be a great platform to share our nursing insights, but it's also a legal minefield. Comments and posts can be considered public records. We nurses are held to the same professional standards online as we are in our workplaces. Again, never post identifiable patient information. Avoid venting about workplace or patient issues online. And always maintain a professional tone in all our communications, especially public communications. Accurate documentation is your best defense in legal cases. The medical chart serves as evidence in court, so it's critical to document objectively and factually. Always record all your observations, interventions, and of course, our patients' responses. Use direct quotes for your patients' complaints or statements. Avoid subjective language or assumptions. Incident reports are equally important. They are used to document unusual occurrences like patient falls or medication errors. Never ever hide these occurrences. These reports will help improve safety protocols. Like, for example, if a patient falls and it's not documented properly, the nurse may be held liable for negligence, even if the fall was unavoidable, which sometimes happen. Nurses are protected under various laws as long as they act within their scope of practice and adhere to institutional policies. Make sure to follow physicians' orders responsibly. Adhere to the standards outlined in our Nursing Act, RA 9173, and report unsafe practices. Like, for example, if you happen to find an ambiguous prescription, always clarify. Like, for example, you find it too high for your patient, always seek clarification. It's better not to do it if we are not sure. Unprofessional conduct includes like falsifying records, practicing without a license, or engaging in unethical behavior. These actions not only damage our reputation but can also result in license suspension or even revocation under Republic Act 9173. Like, for example, if a nurse falsifies patient records to cover up an error, this could lead both to termination and legal action. Always prioritize integrity in our practice. As future nurses, understanding these legal aspects of our profession is critical to providing safe, ethical, and competent care. The laws we've discussed here serve as both guidelines and our safeguards. Always remember, prevention is better than defense. Staying informed, documenting diligently and practicing responsibly can protect our patients, our license, and our career.